I've never been beaten up like I was beaten up last week. I was not feeling good for a couple of days. I refused the medical attention afterwards, and showed me how far Roman is really willing to go to get the job done. And the message was sent. It was sent pretty clearly.
Every time I talk to this man, I introduce him by saying that he's going into the biggest match of his career. And somehow he just keeps topping himself every single time. Drew McIntyre joins us on Sportskeeda Wrestling ahead of Clash at the Castle in the United Kingdom, where he takes on the undisputed heavyweight champion Roman Reigns. But before we talk about that, I have a few things to get out of the way. The female contingent over at Sportskeeda Wrestling, especially my friend Shruti, wanted me to tell you that she loves you and that she's rooting for you, and that a message from you would make her day. Anything?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you very much in general for the female audience, and is it Trudy?
Yeah.
Yeah, for Trudy, thank you very much. Be careful, you're going to make me blush. We're on camera right now.
Amazing. But speaking of our mutual friends, we have a common friend in Bill Actor. And I mean, he conducted an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin recently, where Austin actually said that he can see you and Sheamus go into the Hall of Fame. So what is your reaction to that? And also, we know that he can go. He performed as recently as 2022. You have taken on everybody except for maybe him. So is that on your bucket list?
Well, first of all, it's surreal to see somebody like Stone Cold Steve Austin to say such complimentary things about myself and Sheamus, about seeing us as future Hall of Fame superstars. Like, if you get to know Stone Cold a little bit, you know he doesn't lie. He tells the truth from his perspective, and that means the world because I know he meant it. It was also amazing to see him recently. He came to Reno, Nevada live event close to where he lives, watched the whole show. And the coolest thing was, we got some of our older superstars come back. They'll say hi, they'll stick around for a bit, they'll check out. Steve is such a passionate wrestling fan. He sat down right at the monitor like he would have back in the day. He watched every single match. He gave advice to anybody that wanted advice, and he stuck around right to the main event, which was myself and Sheamus in a street fight. And afterwards, we tried to pick his brain, and he just told us, "You all been doing it long enough. You've got this thing." And once again, if he felt something, he would have told us, and that really meant the world also. But just to see his passion for this industry, I admire that so much. And I did his Broken Skull sessions at one time, and when the cameras went off, I was supposed to be in the East Coast in the morning to do media. If I didn't have that media, we would have been talking for about 2 days straight. When you get people together that have that same respect and love for wrestling, you can talk all day long. And if he wants to get in the ring one more time with Drew McIntyre, I can assure you that'd be a dream come true. I'm sure you saw the sit-down interview I did last week on SmackDown. They showed us pictures when I was a kid, and I'm lying in my Stone Cold bed sheets with my Stone Cold merchandise. So you can get an idea of how big that would be for me.
Absolutely. That is a match we'd love to see. And again, before we speak about Clash at the Castle, one more thing that was brought up, my teammates Brad and Kevin, they were at SummerSlam, and they got a chance to speak to Damian Priest. And Priest said that the first choice for Judgment Day included you in the blueprint. He wanted you in the Judgment Day. Is that something you would have been open to?
I kind of like what I've got going on right now. I think Drew McIntyre is a bit of a lone wolf these days. I've tried the group thing in the past. It didn't necessarily work out for me, but Priest is somebody, he's a friend of mine. I have a great respect for him, and I'm very happy to see he's being successful, even if it's through some nefarious ways. He's killing it right now, and I'm glad to see him get such an opportunity. And Finn as well. I think he's really found his groove right now, and we all know how good he is. And for our future, especially our female division, Rhea is absolutely smashing it. She's so young. She's got so many years ahead of us, and that's one of the pillars of our women's division in the future right there. So Judgment Day is one of Drew McIntyre's favorite acts, but I don't know if you'll see me siding with them anytime soon.
Amazing. So we have seen so many people go up against Roman Reigns. Some of them aren't even with the company anymore. uh, what is that weakness that you hope to exploit that none of these other guys have managed to?
Well, I've been in the ring so many times with Roman, and I've watched his evolution or devolution, depends how you look at it. I used to respect him so much when he got the job done by himself. If the fans were cheering him, booing him, no matter who he faced, whatever difficult situation he faced, he took it on head on, all against one. And I respected that Roman. This tribal chief, things have changed. He's come back. He surrounded himself with yes men. They've filled his head with nonsense. And he's still phenomenal in the ring, one of the top superstars of all time. But these days, he'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. He'll get the family involved. He'll get the wise man pulling strings backstage. It doesn't matter as long as he keeps hold of those titles. And I faced him 2 years ago. I felt that firsthand, but he's also felt firsthand what I'm capable of these days. And I've got 2 more years experience. I'm getting into this match with all that knowledge, with eyes in the front of my head, the back of my head, the side of my head, fully prepared for whatever he tries to throw at me and be the one to dethrone that historic reign.
So let me put you on the spot then. If you're fully prepared for whatever he tries to throw at you, let's say that he brings Sami Zayn and the Usos as backup. Who would you like from the locker room to be your backup?
If anyone wants to get involved, they can get involved. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin taught us a long time ago, DTA, especially when you get to the top of this industry. I've had friends turn on me because of the WWE Championship and because of jealousy, including my lifelong friend Sheamus. So sometimes I feel like I'm in a situation where I got to get the job done by myself, which is fine. Recently, I've been dropping the Usos left and right, sending them back to Roman and Sami, send them back to Roman. I was convinced at one point that he just hates his family because every week he'd send the Usos after me, I'd drop them and I'd send them right back to him. But this past Friday, they got me pretty good. Let me put it that way. When I say pretty good, I mean it was the absolute most violent, horrific beating I've had in my life. And I've been in this industry for 21 years. I've been in a lot of bar fights. I've never been beaten up like I was beaten up last week. I was not feeling good for a couple of days. I refused the medical attention afterwards, and showed me how far Roman is really willing to go to get the job done. And the message was sent. It was sent pretty clearly. We've got one more SmackDown before Clash of the Castle. I plan to send a little message back to Roman before our big match. But yeah, it let me know one thing, that he's scared. He's willing to go that far to try and take me out.
He totally is, if I could say so myself. But you have been making waves on your own also. I mean, you cut a promo where you mentioned a word that I would assume would be a mainstay of world wrestling entertainment. But you mentioned wrestling a few times, and we haven't. We are the same age, although you have much better genes and I look much older than you. But my point is, did that feel liberating, the fact that you were able to mention wrestling?
Yeah, I don't think it was so much intentional as it was something that was coming from within during the moment with Kevin. He was speaking his truth and speaking from the heart, and in return, I was speaking from the heart, and that's what came out. And it was amazing to see the response people had for me mentioning wrestling so many times. In the end, we are World Wrestling Entertainment. We are very, entertaining. We've got some fun, different stuff on the show, but at the core, we're still wrestling. And that's what it's all about. And I don't think it should be a dirty word. And I don't think it really has been a dirty word as such, just maybe the perception publicly. But that's what I felt within, and that's what came out my mouth. I think the line was something like, we're wrestlers in a wrestling ring, let's just freaking wrestle. And it was amazing how much it blew up because that just came out in the moment. And, I wasn't obviously reprimanded for it. I wasn't told otherwise. Hunter's thing is just speak from your heart, speak from your gut, especially the more experienced talents. Stay within the lines of, what you're trying to achieve, but speak your truth. And I think we're seeing a lot of superstars do that right now. And, Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway, the real person, is a very passionate, sometimes angry individual, but I love this industry. So everything I say does come from the heart.
Perfect. I've been told I'm running out of time. My final question, you have mentioned it several times. John Cena is on your bucket list. You said that he's the one guy you haven't faced in a singles competition. So what would a match against John Cena mean to you, prospect?
Yeah, it would be amazing. I would love the chance to get in with John. I've mentioned it a million times, and it's not always reciprocated, but it's not going to stop me mentioning, how much of an influence he had on me, specifically his work ethic. Observing him when I was younger, I wish I applied that work ethic in my youth, but it took getting fired before I took a step back, thought, what do I want to do? I want to achieve my dreams. How am I going to achieve it? You were watching John Cena the whole time. You were watching how hard he works. It's got to be 24/7 if you want to reach the top of this industry. And I started applying that work ethic. He's not doing so many matches now, but if I happen to get one of them, at the stage of my career I'm at, I feel very confident. I mean, in the ring, I've always been very confident, but John's such a amazing speaker and has such a knowledge and a love for this industry and the microphone. You've got to be, on your toes the whole time. And I feel ready for anything, he's got to bring at me. And if it ever materializes, I'll be very happy. But at the same time, I think I'm doing pretty well without, but, it's still on the bucket list.
Amazing. We are all rooting for you. Let's hope you dethrone the seemingly invincible Roman Reigns. Thank you, Drew McIntyre, for taking the time, and best of luck for this weekend.
I appreciate you, buddy. And I just want to say thank you to all the India fans out there. I see you. I've seen you for the past few years. I've seen your positivity, your support for Drew McIntyre. Just thank you. Thank you so much. My goal is obviously beat Roman this Saturday, Clash of the Castle, get my hands on those titles, get them represented across the shows, get the titles defended on a more regular basis, and get back to India for a big show. I talked about this UK show for a long time. The stadium show is happening right now, and I'm telling you, I'm going to keep talking to people till we get back to India. I'll bring those titles there. It'll be my first time in India. I'm going to have real Indian food in India. I'm excited about being in the UK because it's the closest thing I can get right now to real Indian food. But I can't wait to be back in person and for the first time, see you all and get to experience the culture.
I think you guys have more tikka masala than we do.
Oh, yeah, right? I love it. Give it tonight. I think I'm going to get myself some korma and pakora at least. I just don't want to go crazy till after the match.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.